Hi everyone, it's day one of the Strike Back Videoathon that's going on the Booktube community at the moment. This will run right up until, I think it's February the 20th, when YouTube will implement their changes that are going to affect a lot of smaller YouTube users. This is our way of just building up traffic, making more connections, and generally just saying, we're here, we're not going away. This is being hosted by Ben Sanders, Julia from That Bookie, and G Swizzle. I'll leave a link to Ben's original video down below in the description box. He's got all the questions, all the links, and all the info that I don't have, so please go and check it out. It's effectively 30 videos. They are suggestion videos, so you don't have to do them all. You can change it, but it's a way to get you thinking about what videos you can post up and just to share info with each other, which is quite cool. So today's one is favourite books you've read because of Booktube. Now this is going to throw up loads of the obvious ones. I have some of them, but I would say that most of the books I've read have been coming from recommendations on Booktube that I've seen, from book bloggers as well. Let's not forget those guys. But to pick out some of my favourites was actually quite hard. Because a lot of the books that I've had recommended on Booktube, some of them I didn't like as much as others. So the first one I want to draw people's attention to is the Six of Crows duology by Leigh Bardugo. I joined Booktube just as this one was about to be published, so I kept hearing people going on about this book coming out. People wanted to read this book, they wanted to read this book because they'd really enjoyed this book. I have never read any Leigh Bardugo before. This is my first books written by her that I tried, and I have to say I really enjoyed them. They're an anti-hero heist story set in this fantasy world, and effectively we follow a group of criminals, and they're really good criminals. But I've really come to love this duology. I think it's pretty perfect. If we could get more books with these guys, I'd love it, but if we can't, then these are perfection as far as I'm concerned. On someone's channel who I desperately can't remember where, which I feel really, really bad about. It must have been a UK person though. I came across this series of books. These are the St. Mary's Chronicles written by Jodie Taylor. This is book one, just one damn thing after another. Regular people on my channel would know I bash on about these books an awful lot. They are adventure, historical, witty, sarcasm stories that involve time travel, although at St. Mary's, they don't call it time travel, they call it observing historical events in contemporary time. You know, that's an important mark. But I really, really love this series. They're just so much fun. So if you want a historical, light-hearted thingy, this is the book to try out. There's a great series, there's a collection of short stories, and they're all sat behind me on the shelf here. I've only got Queen of Shadows from this series, but the author in question is Sarah J. Maas. This is someone I've heard gone on about so much on Booktube. There's obviously her Throne of Glass series and then A Court of Thorn and Roses series. I have to admit, I started reading the Throne of Glass very early on in my time on Booktube. Bearing in mind I've only been on Booktube a year, and I've got to Tower of Dawn now to read, so I'm nearly caught up. And I didn't like Throne of Glass to start off with. I did a review when I finished it. I was very nervous because everybody loves these books, and I didn't really like the first book, but I stuck with it, and I have to say I'm glad I've stuck with it because they have grown. I still don't like our main character very much. I think Selena is, well, but I really enjoyed the story that's going on here and the supporting characters so much. That's why I stuck with it, because I want to see how this plays out. I have some theories now. Obviously, we've got the last book. I think it's the last book coming out towards the end of the year. And I've got some theories about how it's going to go down and what's going to happen. So I want to see it to the end now. And then there's her Court of Thorns and Roses series. This is book 3 in the series, which I haven't read yet because of all the hype, and I didn't want to read it while all the hype was going on. So I've left this. I will be reading this shortly. But if you want more fairies and sort of references to fairy tales and classical stories, then you'll probably enjoy this series more than Throne of Glass. Book 1 is okay. Book 2 is pretty damn awesome. So I'll be interested to see how book 3 fares compared to book 2, because book 2 was just, I'm just going to say, it was spectacular and really enjoyable and downright exciting and so much character development, and I really enjoyed it. So this one's got a lot to live up to. But I would never have read Sarah J Maas if it weren't for Booktube. And like I say, that's the next one I've got to read. And then there's Morgan Rhodes, the Falling Kingdom series. This is book 2, Rebel Spring, because I don't have any of the rest. Reagan over on Peruse Projects keeps going on about this series. It's a really good fantasy series. I like fantasy. I thought I'd give it a go. Yeah, I like this series an awful lot. There's a nice range of characters in there. We see things from several different viewpoints, so you're never quite sure whose side you're supposed to be on, as it were. But very, very good. A weave of magic, classical fantasy and politics, a la Game of Thrones a little bit. So if you like that sort of thing, go and check out the Fallen Kingdom series. But again, I'd never have heard of this if it wasn't for Reagan's channel, because this just doesn't exist on our bookcases over here. So we are 4 authors that I've picked up purely because of Booktube. And I would say that's what I really like most about Booktube, that you get to find out what other people are reading. And because here in the UK, we don't tend to have the big bookshops everywhere. Yeah, if you go to Edinburgh and London and like Birmingham and places like that, you'll get the bigger shops. But most of our stores are quite small, so they can't stock everything, and they tend to stick with what they know they're going to sell. And I do find, once again, the fantasy is sort of shoved to one side, unless it hits mainstream like Sarah J Maas has, and then you start seeing it everywhere. So it's nice to have recommendations from other people of books they've discovered, and then you can go out and check it yourselves. So it's really good. Part of the Strike Back Videoathon is a shout out to a smaller booktuber out there. So today I've picked a dyslexic reader. There's her homepage for you to go and check out. She's really kind, very chatty. I've only been following her for a short period, but she's been really friendly and she's really interesting to listen to, and she has some very, very good opinions and discussions going on. So please go and check her out and give us some support. I'll leave a link for her channel down below for you, so you can find it easily. As always, my social media links are down in the description box. Please go and say hi. It'd be lovely to see you. Please also check out other smaller booktubers, show them some love, and also some book bloggers. I'll leave some links for you down below as well to go and check that out. Leave me your comments of your favourite books that you discovered on Booktube, or links to your own vlogs. That would be great. I'll go and watch them for you. As always, thank you very much for watching, and happy reading. Bye.